Thanks for having me again, Rap. Uh, we're back here sa Metapodcast. So, we're joined this time by another special guest, no? Parati na lang all-star ang guests mo dito, Rap,
Wala na akong pambayad sa talent fee, guys.
So, yeah, we're joined by none other than, fellow organizer and well-known player in the community, Dodge. So, just to give a brief introduction to those who may not know, Dodge is a fellow competitor from way back then, no? If I memory serves right, he started since 2015. So more or less, kasama ko siya kahit noon pa na nagko-compete kami. In fact, tayong dalawa, no, Eric, tsaka isa pang player, tayong tatlo yung first Filipinos na we went abroad to compete representing our country, no?
Yes, I haven't done my entrance, pero hello, greetings everyone. I'm Dodge or Erickson Marquez, as most people know. Pero I usually go by Dodge kasi that's kind of my parang real name ko na siya. In kasi like 90% of the people I talk to call me Dodge instead of my real name. So yeah.
Oh, saan ang ano niyan? Anong ano bang tawag doon? Saan nagsimula yung Dodge na yan? Saan galing
Sa,
yan?
Sa Valorant ata eh.
No.
Hindi
Actually,
ba?
Dota.
Dodge, this is my IGN since 2010.
Mm.
Sa FPS games ko siya gamit usually. So iba yung
Ah.
IGN ko sa FPS games, saka iba yung IGN ko sa non-FPS games. So
I thought
so
you got it.
eventually I just adopted it for everything. Parang ito na lang gamitin ko para sa lahat.
I
Okay.
thought you got it from a voice line. Kasi 'di ba parang may voice line na ganun sa Valorant, 'di ba?
It's actually my IGN. So brief backstory sa IGN ko is DodgeThiss is yung origin niya kasi is it's a wordplay on from the song Can't Touch This. Kasi I was a prolific sniper in Crossfire in 2010. I was the main opper of our team. So it's like can't dodge this. Kasi I always hit my shots, kumbaga.
Wow. Ayos ah. Ako ang naisip ko kasi dati akong nagdo-Dota so feeling ko yun, pag nagda-dodge ng stun.
Pwede.
Ay,
Oo,
actually, may mahilig din ako sa skill shot heroes to. Mga Mirana, Pudge.
yun na.
Basically, ganun din yung concept.
Ako, ayun yung naisip ko. Baka doon yung origin ng name. So, thank you. Uwi na.
Ayun na. So, ayun.
So, now that now that the three of us are here kasi nga 'di ba dati parati na lang two-way yung conversation at this is the first one na tatlo tayo. So I think it's also fair to bring it up, no, kasi three of us are from well-known teams in the Philippine Pokemon Team League. I think that's fair to discuss today, no?
Yes.
So, let's just start it from from where we can look at a general overview, no? Well, of course, let's ask our guest, the other person rather whose first time is now on this podcast. So Dodge, what do you have to say about the draft, like the team rosters that came out of it?
Actually, I'm looking at the teams right now, of course. Kasi, syempre, can't really remember, like, everyone off the bat. I think it went pretty well. Like for us personally, I think we could have done better. I could have done better at the tail end of the draft. I made one huge mistake at the tail end of the draft kasi we were like aiming for a player. Tapos I was a bit too late in bidding because I was trying to snipe it.
If you don't mind my asking, since the draft is done, who were you going after?
It was your pick si Ben Ward, si Guillaume.
Guillaume, yeah, okay.
Yeah, so I was supposed to pick him up and snipe him like with all of my remaining budget. Pero I think the bot was was always 2 seconds in advance, which I failed to account for. So parang so I failed to snipe the bid from Alpha Tornado. So eventually, pero it actually worked out,
Yeah, you
I think I'm
actually
still
have a really good
satisfied.
team. You have a really
I,
good team in
I'm still
fairness. Yeah.
satisfied with my with my lineup, regardless of me failing that snipe.
Ikaw naman rap. What do you have to say about the teams that came out of the draft this time around?
Wala. Wala akong pake. Hindi, wala kasi ako nung wala ako
Ah,
nung ano, nung draft league yung draft night.
Oo, pero what do you have to say about yung the final outcome, yung the teams that were formed per se?
Okey naman. Ang kinakatakot ko lang si ano, yung Heart Home Hex Horses kasi medyo bigatin din yung mga nakuha niya 'no. 10M kasi yung budget niya, eh. Tas ang lakas
Oo nga,
man
eh.
ano, nung nire-replay ko yung draft, medyo natatawa din ako dun sa iba. Kasi parang pinaglalaruan tayo yung pinaglalaruan, eh.
Oo, kasi
Oo,
nga
'di ba?
may extra cash siya 'no dahil sa
Oo,
rules.
parang
Oo.
ang dami niyang gustong players na makuha ta's bina-bump niya lang yung mga price and
Actually,
then
if 'pag as you said nga 'pag rine-play mo, makikita mo technically he influenced how many teams were formed, eh.
yeah, I agree.
Mm.
Oo.
Kasi nga yung the budget that was allocated for certain players was inflated or pumped dahil sa kanya 'no.
Yup, yeah, I agree din.
Ako,
Actually,
I'm a bit satisfied naman with how they drafted. Like, they actually played into our hands more often than not. Like, I like what they were doing. Like, okay, gawin mo pa yan. Parang ganun na vibe. Like,
Mm,
keep
oo.
destroying the other team's plans. Like, they were destroying our plans. So, I was like, sige lang. You know, like, panoorin ko lang sila, like, try to ensue chaos.
yeah, yeah. So, may question ako 'no, for Dodge 'no. Yeah, siyempre nakapag-drop ka na ng 6 players. Aside from those players, sino yung sa tingin mong gusto mo talagang makuha? Aside from, Ben.
Uh, Actually, aside from that, yung at that point in time ba, you mean? Yung bago
Oo,
pa?
Hindi,
bago
let's make it easier. Let's say that all of the players that you drafted did not join. Who else would you eye for then?
give ano, top 3 players, yan. Ito gusto ko.
Siguro I would like aside from everyone else in my team. Of course, siguro ang pinaka ano si I think the most reliable for me is kind of si Billy probably. I would get Billy pero he wasn't really my main target kasi I knew he would go to EGE. Like especially when Billy was up for auction, I was like saying to Kaizen, we were in a private voice call. So sasabi namin, it's like, oh, di mo dami nagbibid sa kanya, sabi mo, di mo last bid EGE. Kasi it actually happened. I was like laughing so hard, like, oh, they're so predictable. So I felt good going to the draft na I can predict most of the movements of the drafters aside from personal mistakes. And yeah. So siguro for second one, I would hopefully have gotten wait, I'm actually looking at my spreadsheet right now. See, it's a bit hard, huh? Siguro si Alvin. He's been performing really well in recent times. So I think it's, he's also a solid pick at that point in time. Pero he wasn't really part of the of the drafting plan kasi I had different agendas
Hindi,
like
kaya that's the point of the question. We're not including the players that you have as if they did not
yeah, I mean
join.
as if it didn't exist nga. So I would probably
Yeah.
get Alvin. Uh, just a overall solid pick. Is something reliable. And probably for my third one, uh, sino pa bang sleeper dito? Or just an overall solid pick? I think I would be comfortable having si Patrick Kabangan on my team.
Yeah, he's
Like
a
a
long time player.
long time player, just a
Oo.
solid rock as well. Sometimes you just need an anchor, like for the team. So usually I would go for my first pick as someone who's reliable and parang who's consistent in
Someone you don't mind na whoever plays against.
in most of their seasons, like a
Mhm.
good performer.
Yeah.
So yeah, so I think those are my top three picks outside of my own draft. But of course, we had other plans such as getting June or Cypher as our first pick. It was it was the plan A talaga from the start. Kasi of course, we were trying to build international lineup, I guess, at
Which is
that point.
ironic actually, no? If you think back, Dodge. Kasi in the World Cup, the last World Cup, you were pretty sided towards only natural like Filipinos in the country
Of course,
trying out.
parang
Yeah. No,
I was like,
I get your sentiment, which is, but eventually you also learn to agree. Kasi naman, what's the point? You're just representing it, which I just found funny lang that I wanted to raise. Kasi nga, dati ayaw mo ng Mr.
hindi, let
Worldwide.
me explain my like at that point in time, siguro I was adamant and oy, like there are new players like just bigla silang sasali ng World Cup, which they never participated in our own events or nor supported us. Pero it's thinking times are fast and like
Yeah,
whatever,
of course. Yeah.
they're still Filipinos at heart anyway. Like if they want to represent us, then let them be, I guess. I mean, if they're good enough to represent us, and it's all in good intentions, naman.
Nice one. Nice
Uh,
answer, Pang showbiz yung answer mo,
Ang Mr. VGC, ano?
Hmm.
so ayun nga lang naman, 'di ba? I remember that time na uy, ganito. Pero of course, I wasn't even active at that time. So who am I to just to comment on it? So I was busy doing Valorant stuff.
Mhm.
So
Yeah. Yun talaga. So, sa lahat ng players sa draft pool, si Arvin talaga ang tina-target mo?
Uh, I actually have never played him before or nor have seen him play. Pero of course with my advisor si Vice Captain Kaizen, I was convinced naman. It's like, oh, I think he might provide overall good value to the team.
Mm.
Uh, us adding metas of different regions like Arvin from being from the east side and Axel from the west side and Kaizen Singapore. We have a lot of mix-ups over here and there, that you might expect or not,
East side? You mean east of the United States?
east of
Ah,
USA.
Okay,
and
okay.
Mark from Cebu.
Oo
And
nga,
Mark from
oo.
Cebu. Pero of course, Cebu doesn't have its own league, so we'll see
They do
about that.
actually, I believe they do. Pero
I
maliit lang
mean,
siya.
not as
Oo.
prominent as us, so
Yes,
of course.
yes, oo.
Baka ban
So,
ban na ata si Mark dun, ayaw na pasalihin.
Talaga?
Baka ban na, Yan.
so ayun nga lang. So medyo nakikita niyo yung diversity ng namin, ng team namin, and tingnan natin,
Oo nga, yung comment ko nga sa inyo PhilAm team,
Hindi naman. Si Kaizen, di naman So, kailangan, basta worldwide, di ba? May team
Oh,
worldwide
Mr.
kami.
Worldwide, oo, yan. Yan nga.
Masyado kayong nag-expand kayo masyado,
Oh, syempre, nagko-conquer kami ng na region.
Yeah. So, nakuha mo din pala si Bibarel, 'no? Ito, medyo may potential din
Bibarel
'to,
Gaming, oo.
Actually, I've never played him before, and we actually got into a practice match, and he actually puts up a good fight.
He
You know,
played against Ice recently sa stream niya. Magaling naman siya.
Yeah, I agree.
he actually knows how to play. Sorry for that. He actually knows how to play. He can grow a lot as a player.
Yeah. Ako din. Yan para sa akin, inahay ko din si Bibarel nung draft, Kaso siyempre maraming players, siyempre marami ding may mga potential din yung iba lalo na. Pero
Actually,
nasa top 6 ko ata 'to si Bibarel sa listahan ko.
sa Lumius Totens you actually drafted yung magkakaibigan. Yung
Sino?
si JNS at si Century.
Yes,
Pero
Yeah.
actually,
nagkulang kayo ng isa, 'di ba? Sino yung isa
dalawa.
si
Actually, four sila kasi they're my IRL friends from
Mm.
Pokemon Unite and parang we live near each other except for the fourth one. But nonetheless, technically four package sila. Si Century, si JNS, si
Hellscream.
si Hell Screamer, tsaka si Dominion. Pero his name is different here eh. Ang pagsali niya, his IGN is Brian. Yun.
Mm.
Four of them,
So,
we're part of us one group chat actually. And I've met three of
kanina
them
punta kay si
there.
Brian. Where did Brian go to?
Brian
Peter
is
Pan.
actually, yeah, he went to Pewter Pants along with Hell Screamer. Pero si Hell Screamer kasi his IGN is Edward, so it's easy for you to look in the spreadsheet. But yun, the two of them are part of Pewter
Oh,
Pants.
actually,
The other
duo
two are
sila,
in
di
Lumi's
ba?
Silence.
They're in pairs. So,
Yeah, somewhat. Oo.
So apat pala sila 'no? Akala ko tatlo
Oo.
lang, eh. Hindi ko nakuha yung isang yung Legendary Bird, eh. Yan yung joke ko sa
Oo.
amin, eh. Yeah.
Yun nga.
Oo. So next question tayo 'no? Dad,
Ah, ikaw, Dodge, why don't you ask us a question?
puwede
ah,
naman tanungan, eh.
sige, pwede naman. Kasi, pero wala kasi si Rap nung draft, no? Pero Tyrant's also the commissioner, so medyo hindi siya active dun sa scheming sa behind. Like, were you typing back then? Like, were you like
No,
coordinating with
it was
sila?
very difficult for me to talk to my team. Actually, I tried one time and it was too
You
difficult.
got distracted too
Yeah,
much, no?
it's too
Parang, I feel
difficult,
like,
no. So it's very obvious. I mean, it was obvious back then, and saying it now, I think it was pretty obvious na I could not, work with my team for that. But
eh,
prior to that, I made like a strategy for them to consider, to look at, if
what
for
was the
scenarios.
strategy? Like, what was the main strategy? What was your team revolving around?
Ayan na.
Actually, well, total, everything is done now. Actually, all of you went according to how I predicted things to be. Like your team, Dodge, it's exactly how I figured
Did
it
you
will be.
expect us to be aiming
Yes,
for Arvin back?
everyone, actually, the only thing that I did not um account for, in fairness, was that Zenith of Hearthome Hexorcist would put up a really good fight. That's the only thing. Everything else went according to my plans. Kaya our draft was pretty solid. Your team, I really predicted your team to go, as we said nga, the term worldwide, no? Kasi nga you got Kaizen to be part of your initial core members, no? And si Kaizen magaling yun in uh team
Scouting.
information, logistics, team info, everything for that style. Atop being a good player, no? Kasi si Rap and I, we used to be part of the national team together with him. Magaling talaga siya as a team member. He pulls his weight around. Um, Spike Moot aside, moving on to, I said already Hearthome Hexorcist. Yung Lumious Titans, I already predicted that hindi sila mabubuo. Kasi one, I was scheming with one or two other teams to make sure that hindi nila makukuha
Ako,
uh,
may
si Neil
pagkatulungan pala dito, Rap, eh, no?
Si
Kapag
Neil,
isa-isahan
si
pala
Neil tsaka
kumikita.
si Vincent. Si Neil tsaka si Vincent, I schemed with one to two other teams na to ensure that those two would not go to Lumious Titans, or worst case scenario, they will only get one but at a huge cost sa budget nila, no? And then uh best case scenario, they didn't get either, but surprising nga lang na I thought you guys would, spend more for them. But then si Renny, andyan nga siya, nakuha niya. Sa Balon Leia, very predictable kasi si Brent is known to get yung barkada niya, no? And yung flower power, kumbaga, friendship makes it. What else? Si Renny, yun rin, solid drafter after all this
Actually,
time.
si Renny, I felt like he was like drafting a bit randomly
No, no,
compared to
no, no.
usual.
It's not, it maybe it might seem that way, and at first I did think that way. But the players he was drafting, they're all solid players, if you think about it.
Oo, tama. I agree
They
din.
they all they all have good record kasi okay, let's start from the beginning. Guaranteed he drafted first Patient and Reason, two champion members of the Lumious Titans. Solid, 'di ba? And then after that, ang nakuha niya
Si
si
Goda,
Goda. Oo, si
Diyos.
Goda, ayun. Si Goda, oh my gosh, familiar yung name niya but oh my gosh, oh my
Um,
gosh, oh my gosh.
Wait lang, ako muna. Si Josh, part siya ng VR 2021, Team Philippines.
Yun. Kaya I knew na member siya ng national team. I just forgot which one. So,
Hmm.
that's a national team member on him for the third member. And then, nakuha pa niya si Gio, which was at my teammate last season. So, runner-up team player, di ba? Tapos,
Yeah,
there's Moonvein.
Gio
Moonvein
is
na,
playing sa Hong Kong.
si Gio not migrated per se, but he had to move to Hong Kong for his work. And then, to top it off, he was also able to get Moonvein. If Rap remembers,
Mm.
Moonvein is a strong player who almost made the national team last season. No, he just fell. He just,
Uh,
I think, sobrang busy lang niya,
I,
no,
wa- I,
Rap?
wa- I want to interject a question nga lang here. So you guys been mentioning like 2021, 2022 players. Like with this in mind though, like have you guys been monitoring how good they were in Dynamax era
Yes, yes.
versus to now?
Kasi all
Oh,
the
Like
more me, all the
do
more.
you think most of the players that were good in Dynamax were as good as they are now?
Do you want to go first, Rap, or do you want me to?
that
Kasi
depende yan sa player eh. Depende yan sa player.
like
I think
I think
ako ay accounting sa mas maganda ata yung background pag wala ka, di ka nag-start sa Sword and Shield era. Ako yun. Yun yung sa tingin kong naging ano.
Okay.
Pero
Um,
wala pa naman. I mean, nag-start pa lang din naman yung season natin, so marami din pwedeng mangyari. So, ayun.
for me, to answer Eric's question first directly, I think it's a mix. You can't There's no absolute answer to that per se, but I would answer siguro that 70% of the people who started in Sword and Shield would not be as good right now. Kasi nga given the gimmick or the game mechanic back then was Dynamax, no? The format, that mechanic itself, what's the right word, it spoiled players or beginners per se back then, because they're immune to so many things, unlike now, like fake out, flinching. They don't
one hit
really.
KOs.
Yes, yeah, that also. And at the same time, it enables so many Pokemon to be better than what they already were, no? Like for example, Dodge, I remember back then you were using a Dynamax
Durant.
Dragapult with
I
and
mean,
with
yeah,
Axe,
yeah.
no? Yeah, and yeah, of course there's Durant with the the abilities that take into account, no, because the Dynamax
Pero
moves
yeah,
cannot
our
miss.
triple ghost team with Axe was
Yes.
quite
Oo.
dominant.
Yun. So, taking that into account, um I really do. I really called it even before that the players from that started with Dynamax and who excelled back then don't necessarily mean that they will excel here per se. But there is still a level of consistency if you look at the results of some players. Kasi nga, at the end of the day, one thing that is constant with VGC is that the format always changes. So there are still some strong players that it's like nature, survival of the fittest. Kasi nga they're fit in whatever environment it is. Kasi they have the mind to adjust to it. So there are still players that are still good, but karamihan na nag-start sa Sword and Shield, they're not as good in my opinion. And to agree with Rap, if you started in Scarlet and Violet, personally I agree with Rap, you would be better than those that more often than not started in Sword and Shield.
Yeah.
Oh, I wholly agree then with that sentiment. That's why I drafted players who played previous seasons already instead of like players who started in Sword and Shield. To my
Mm.
knowledge, of course.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
So para
Kasi tayong tatlo we've played throughout the years, and Dynamax really lowered the skill ceiling. Actually, I think that's the best way to say it, kasi nga it makes the players ignore so many mechanics.
Maraming ano eh, skill na na-bypass yung Dynamax eh. Ayun yung
Mm.
nagpalakas sa kanila eh.
Yes. Pero no, Rap, no, nung I think was it the last World Cup that we played, walang Dynamax format nun, no? Yung format na yun. Or was it the
Yung
last one?
the 2021 season.
Yeah, 2021. Tama, tama. Oo.
May restricted isa pero walang Dynamax.
Yes, yes, oo.
Yung last year yung merong dalawa eh. Two
Yeah, I
restricted tas
remember now.
may Dynamax yun.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, sa answer ni I mean yung sa question ni Dodge about ano bang tawag dun? Kung sino yung player na nag-excel. Actually, yung tinitignan ko, marami din talagang players na ano eh, yung pagdating ng Scarlet and Violet, medyo parang bumaba yung skill level nila. Or baka nag-a-adjust pa, ganun. So,
I mean, of course, that's given naman na they will take some time adjusting. Pero of course, actually, siguro yung pinaka best example na of someone who started in Sword and Shield and actually, was still was still really good in Scarlet Violet. Probably your EG's own Feraja,
Yes, yes.
He's
Actually, if you were paying attention, I know Rap was, but I'm not sure if you were Dodge the early, when the game just started and the VGC hype, no? When the numerous online tournaments that were happening locally, very consistent siya, parang unstoppable streak siya, di ba?
Yeah,
of course
parang nag-top top
Oo.
lahat.
Oo.
alongside Axe also, he was like playing
Yes,
also.
oo.
I
Isa pa
wasn't playing
yun.
at that time. So,
Oo.
they've been practicing, of course, they've been putting effort into their own, into their
Yes.
own training. So, uh, that should be expected.
Mm.
So, yun nga. Mga Sword
Ayun.
and Shield gamers. So, we'll see. We'll see throughout the season, no, kung they can catch up to the veterans that have been playing No Dynamax since Season X.
Mm-mm.
Okay. Okay yung mga tanong mo, biglaan, Ayos,
Ano ba?
Ah,
Akala mo, ano rin naman ako, di ba? aside from being a Pokemon player, I also have other activities. So, of course, medyo sanay na rin. So,
hmm,
yan.
okay. Okay. Sa draft pool, sige. Kahit ano 'to, kahit team mo or kahit saan team. Sino sa tingin mo yung budget meal?
Mm.
Yung na-drop na parang hindi ito yung skill level na para sa'kin.
Yung
Nasa
you
na
mean
nga ba
yung
yun?
you
Wait
mean
lang
the
ha.
value was
Oh,
too good to draft the player?
Actually, I have to
oh,
check kasi I don't know how much people were getting
You
drafted
can
for.
you can actually just tell me the name and I'll search it for you.
That's hassle, brother.
No, my spreadsheet is open for this.
yeah, meron din akong copy.
I'm
Hindi,
ready. I'm ready. Don't worry.
I have to mix it. I have to compare kasi parang ganun. Wait lang. I think I'm just gonna check sa ano natin.
Kunyari
May
si
na,
Billy 4.5 parang kulang pa yun. 5M
Mm.
dapat yun.
Well, since Dodge is going to make the effort to open it, if I can answer it first. Siguro with regards to value first, no. I think the one that should be brought up before everyone else was the first draft itself, si Alvin
Si Alvin.
Rambano. Dalawa kasi eh. Dalawa yung Alvin sa liga. Yung nakuha nyo sa Lumious Titans. For
Mm,
me, I think that was a really good steal sa buong league
yeah.
na
Ako din,
1.5. Oo.
I agree. Parang ako kung i-da-draft ko siya, I mean solid pick, mga 2.5 pataas. I think
Oo.
si Raka ata magbibidatan kaso may technical.
May technical error, oo.
Yeah,
But
sorry.
pero of course in drafting you should be on a PC or Windows laptop. I mean, a PC most of the time for that. Kasi mahirap talaga sa phone, di ba? So,
Yeah.
mahirap talaga.
Baka nangchichicks ata si Kuya Muraka nung araw.
yung chat bubble, no, para
Mm,
maka-multitask. Oo. Jokes to him lang, no. But yun, I think that's the first. Kaya talagang nung draft, kudos talaga sa captain nyo si James na not only of course getting the first draft but getting a solid um purchase
yeah.
in Alvin. That was really a strong one. Nagulat ako kasi yung sa research paper na ginawa ko sa team namin, may expected value for him would be around 2.5 to 3.5. So nagulat
Right.
talaga ako na na-seal within 1.5. But technically it was also due to technical difficulties. Kaya may naagaw. Wala masyadong agawan rather.
Yeah. Ako din, but ewan ko. Ewan ko ba't 'di nag-contest yung iba. Baka tingin nila hindi
I
gano'n
think they
Nag,
were
ka-solid si
after other
Alvin.
players. I think they were after other players kasi.
Sabagay unang bid kasi Alvin agad 'no? Parang
Mm.
oo,
I think
na-decide.
everyone was just worried they didn't wanna overspend.
Yeah. So balik tayo kay Dodge. Dodge, may napili ka na ba?
actually, yung sa Pewter Pan siguro, yung number 3 at 4 bid nila, si Goda sa si Gio. I think they were
Hmm,
too cheap for someone you guys were stating like of their caliber. Like both of the players were
undervalued.
acquired like 700,000 to 750 lang.
Yeah.
Pero Siguro it's probably lack of familiarity with the players more so
Mhm.
than not.
Yeah.
So
Mm,
probably they're sulit naman I guess for Rennie.
okey. So, sige yung ano naman, ano, ano bang kabaliktaran ng budget? Overpriced player.
Overpriced.
I can't really say. Hmm. Eh,
Well,
I can't really consider anyone who's like bottom, like yung the last four drafts. Kasi parang, ano na yun exhausted na yung mga resources natin nun eh. So parang, like, it's whatever. Parang binabato na lang natin.
Hmm, Sir G, ayaw mo kay Sir G?
I don't know him eh. So,
Yeah,
I
okey.
I I know him somewhat personally kasi from Pokemon Unite.
Naglalaro din siya Unite, okey.
Oo, actually naging we became acquainted and we became friends because of Pokemon Unite. But I also remembered kasi prior to that, he was part of Rennie's team last season.
Okey. Sino pa ba?
I honestly think yung sa Lumious Titans, yung, I was wondering why people were bidding so much for Century and JNS.
Ah,
Like,
well, I can answer
with their
that
lack
for you if you'd like.
of experience. I mean, with my lack of familiarity with them, I was like wondering, okay, they're waiting a lot of for these people. I know they're new kasi, di ba, hatak sila ni Francis. Pero, you know,
Well, actually, here's to give a background on technically kasi tatlo talaga sila that you're aware of, no, Rap. Hindi ka lang
Oo,
aware dun kay Brian. So, to give a background per se, si Century, si JNS, and si Edward, who is Hell Screamer, yung tatlo kasi na yan, naging teammates ng former teammate yung dalawa, si Heisenberg, no? In Pokemon Unite. So they knew him back then. And from then, he was already like I think from what I know, he was exposing them and teaching them about VGC. And at the same time, kasi nga friends ko rin sila, I was also teaching them VGC. So if you compare them to the average beginner, meron na silang background per se. Kasi from two sides na, notable player din si Heisenberg. Two-time champion yun in our league. So, these players, if you think about it and are aware of them, they've been soaking up information on the game already.
hindi, pero what I was wondering about, why did the other teams kept bidding on them even though they don't know them? Parang gano'n.
Actually, in the earlier tournaments kasi sumasali sila. And good finishing naman yung tatlo.
Fair enough.
ano ba? Um, para sa'min kaya I mean, may discussion kami bago kasi yung draft.
Oo.
Siyempre I mean ako kasi yung nag-handle nung, tryout. So, out of like 15, parang
Mhm.
nasa top 5 silang tatlo, gano'n. I mean hindi
So,
naman kailangang para sa'kin sa tryouts, hindi mo kailangan manalo. May
Yes,
mga
that's also
essence,
our same method. Oo.
may mga skills na ako lalo na ako ano ako, mapanira akong tao, eh. So, may tinitignan akong value sa player. Kung gusto mo talagang maglaro, sige, halika dito. I mean, during the tryouts din kasi, madami din talagang talents na nag-contact sa'kin or nagpa-tryout. Marami marami din I mean, each of the tryout players din may kanya-kanyang, skills na naibigay. Sa kanilang tatlo parang consistent sila dun sa yung nakita kong value sa kanila.
Yung
Parang lahat
criteria
sila the
mo.
same.
so
Oo.
basically, they impress you guys on the tryouts saka sa
Oo.
overall ano nila. So probably since I never have fought them or have seen them play,
But
then probably
funny enough, they only tried out I think sa Lumious Titans, no.
yeah,
They
because of
didn't try out
their
they
probably
didn't try out with
their
me
bias
anymore.
to Heisenberg and the team, parang ganun.
Yeah, they didn't try out with me anymore kasi nga sabi nila, I know them anyway, so what's the point? But if I do draft them, they would have been okay with it now. But alternatively, they really did want the Lumious Titans.
Pero
Kaya
Peter
masaya
Pans
sila.
actually drafted them though, like the
Hindi,
two
si
over
si
four.
Edward and si Brian, yes, oo. Pero si Brian kasi he was a bit inactive recently leading up to the league. Pero si Edward, active yun. He was there in our Treasures and Titans event.
Yes, yes, yes.
Mm.
So yun. Yun.
I think another player that I just on the topic, I think maganda rin na isang draft ng Lumious Titans, no, was si Lucid. si MJ.
Si MJ, oo.
Oo, actually nag-tryout rin siya sa amin and funny story kasi, si Alpha Toronado was the one handling the tryouts for the most part kasi gusto gusto rin niya na wala ng kalawang ng VGC Rust niya. And so he got to try out a lot of people and more so kasi busy rin ako so I couldn't help. But recently leading up to the draft, mas naging free ako and then busy siya. So fell onto my lap na isa sa mga ita-try out ko si MJ. And I'll that's a story for another time what happened sa battle. Pero isa siya sa mga players that we really wanted. Pero the amount that Lumious Titan spent for him, we really could not afford to spend that much anymore to outbid it.
Dodge.
Mhm.
Sasabihin ka ba?
Wala naman. I mean, yeah.
Do you agree? Ikaw, I mean,
Mm,
ano pa ba? Sino pa bang best pick dito?
actually,
Actually, yung
sa mga dinraft ko, actually, none of them tried out for me. Oh, that's another revelation. All of the players I've drafted were never tried out for us.
I
yeah,
think what most people are also unaware of kasi is that tryouts serve as a way for the lesser known players to make themselves known kasi, 'di ba?
yeah,
Kasi the known players naman, no matter what, they know that they will be drafted because they have a record. So, for all those people out there listening and wanting to get into the scene, that's what the tryouts were mainly
It
created
actually
for.
annoyed me that everyone was so last minute, and I was so busy that week. Na I had a lot of work stuff to attend to, so I just turned away some of the tryouts na since I barely had any more time. So like you know try out earlier, guys. Parang
yeah. Ako din, nung parang after nung Treasures and Titans tournament, parang nag-surge bigla. So, lagi din akong puyat. Tapos, address ko lang dun sa mga undrafted players, no? Baka kasi nagagalit kayo. Or I mean, nagtatampo kayo. Kaya nga kami may tryout para matest namin yung caliber nyo as a player. Lalo na kung nag-start out pa lang kayo sa Sword and Shield. And lalo na sa ganitong draft league, no? Um, ano pa ba? Some, di, nakapag-try na ba kayo ng other draft leagues, Dodge and Tyrant?
ako
Um,
ako way back pa, pero it wasn't too fruitful kasi I think it went inactive after
yeah,
a
I
while.
did. I did. Oo, recently. There was one
Nag-APAC
that,
yun. Nag-APAC ka, di ba?
yes, ako.
Oo. So, explain ko lang, no, sa mga undrafted players. Pag mga ganong international draft league, pag hindi kayo na-draft, hindi na kayo makakapaglaro. So, I think
Yes.
sa PPTL, we give a chance to undrafted players na mag-form ng teams.
Mm-mm.
So, I think it's yun yung pinaka-best, besting decision na ginawa ni Tyrant para sa liga, ano. So, sa mga undrafted players, no, pag gamitin niyo 'to, yung galit niyo para talunin kami. Ayan,
But
'yan.
to my surprise, I like the initiative that was done by some of the undrafted players to form the two teams,
Yeah,
no? Especially yung sa Levincia leftovers na for them to think of a team name like that, tsaka to be upbeat about it. Gusto ko talaga yung energy that they're giving.
yeah, kudos to them. Ang bilis
Mm.
niyo pa gumawa ng logo,
Meron kasi silang graphic designer sa team.
Yeah.
Yun
Parang
yung
parang nakita ko yun sa chat na, "Uy, graphic
oo,
designer ako."
si
Draft
Renny
league.
kasi naghahanap siya ng graphic designer na player sana. Yun yung na-miss niya.
Ayun, naku, Renny, 'di ka sana napagastos. Yeah, so yun. Yung isa, ano yung isa?
Honey Star Assassins. Actually,
Yun,
old
yun.
old old team name yun eh.
So dating ano,
Dating team yun, yung captain nila na si Enzo, old-time player yun na bumalik lang from a long hiatus.
hmm,
And so old team yun. So may experience siya in the format of this league.
nice, nice.
Mm-mm.
Ano pa ba? Hmm. So, guys, 'no, bawal yung trade dito, 'no? So, ask ko lang, Dodge, kunyari magkaroon ng trade, kunwari lang may trade, sinong player ang iti-trade mo?
Ay, oo, masama yung ganyang tanungan. Ba't
Bakit?
kayo magpapalit yung mga players? Kung buong
Bakit?
tiwala ko sa kanila, hindi ko sila kailangan
Ah,
ipalit.
Okay, let's
Kasi,
change the question na lang. Let's change the
yeah.
question. Let's say that there's a player you want to import from another team. Yun na lang para walang ma-offense sa team mo.
Kunyari, dadagdagan na lang. Yun. 10
Oo.
players na kayo. Yan, 10 players na.
Kunwari like you're going to pay for it naman with some credits na kaya mong igastos. What is one player that you would want from another team and why?
Yup, yun na. Kasi, I would just go for the most expensive player, next expensive player, di ba? Which is Bailey, of
Okay.
course.
Fair
Pero,
enough.
that's a tactical yun, di ba? So, or,
Yeah.
it's a bit on the logical side. Pero, siguro if I would, like, if I would to rerun my experience, like, with Spike Move, I would probably still get si Ben, like, the sleeper picks, like, for
Oh,
a
okay.
really low price, we almost got him, of course, pero a bit nga lang, a bit on the misplay on that side. We could have gotten probably like a lot of value with that.
How about you, Tyrant?
For me,
Hmm.
well, there are three players gusto ko sana. Pero yung isa doon, sumali kasi sa ibang team already. Yung isa doon si Kaizen. Gusto ko talaga si Kaizen as a teammate eh. Pero yun, hindi niya ako pinaghintayan na i-draft namin. That aside, another
Ay,
would...
would you pay as much as Kaizen for Billy? Ganun ba? Like, you can only get one of
Why?
them probably at that
Oh,
point.
yan.
Mm.
Diba?
Sige.
I don't know kasi given like things logistically, I don't think we cannot spend obviously that much for both of the players, but we would do our best to try and get them both. No? Which
Oh,
leads
diba?
to the second player I would have want, which is in the same reasoning as Dodge. It's the other expensive player na si Arbin. Kasi well, his price speaks for itself. He's a good player. I've played alongside him for the national team with Rap. Magaling naman siya. I took part in some spars in the same voice room with him. And I like the way he plays and the way he thinks. Magaling siyang player. Solid talaga. The third player I really would have wanted on our team sana would have been si MJ, no? Kasi si MJ solid player siya from Sword and Shield, and I helped him become an even better player than he already was. Kaya I wanted to see him get even better sana alongside me.
Yun. So, para sa amin, no? Para sa akin, personally. Ang gusto ko talagang madagdag sa team namin si Vincent Ignacio. Yan. I think, hindi naman din bago sa inyo, no? Siyempre, at least sa Lumious Titans, dapat I mean, ang pinaka-target talaga namin, mabuo ulit
Yes, yung champion
yung
team.
championship team. Kasi magkakakilala na kami, tas alam na
Oo.
namin yung isa't isa, alam na namin yung practice, gano'n. So, I think,
Actually, on to that point, Rap, just to um add on to it, yung mentality niyo for making that team, it's the same as what I envisioned yung si EGE. Kasi nga, well, for everyone who is unaware, my team won kasi the very first season, 'di ba? And actually yung team ko na yon from the very first season of this league, we were all friends in real life. We all went to high school together, we went to college together. Kaya talagang parang flower power kumbaga. And then over the years, we struggled, although the team struggled with the change of rosters kasi yung original members moved on with their lives. They were too busy na. We still did our best. We reached top finishes. But then it was the last season when na-feel ko ulit yun. The same feeling that you had for Lumis Titans na parang talagang connected kayo sa team, no? Your practice times matched up, you're all conversing, and etc.
yeah. Ako lang kasi yung toxic dun, eh.
Ayun ba? Siyempre natural
Hmm.
na yun para sa'yo.
Oo, ako yung panira dun, eh. Lahat ata ng sinalihan ko, eh. Hanggang BR, eh. So, Dodge, excluding your team, from 1 to 4, sino sa tingin mo yung top 4 teams?
So pag hindi nag-exist yung spike mood sa
Yes, yes,
sa
yes.
Oh,
league, no?
Let's not talk about our teams to be objective.
Hindi, kunwari nga lang hindi nag-exist yung team mo sa current league, no?
Tama, tama.
So let's look at that point of view. Siguro the finals would be EG versus LT. Okay, yun yung finals. So tas yung bronze match will be probably like uh
Or if to make things much more challenging for us, kasi nga, the three of us respect each other's teams. Let's exclude our three teams from the
okay, let's
equation.
say
Mas maganda, di
parang ang
ba?
dami naman nung mawawala pag ganun. Parang
Hindi.
tinano-snap
There are,
mo.
there are 9 teams. So there are 6 minus 3.
Ganito na lang, wag na lang natin sila i-rank 1 to 4. Like
Oo.
semifinals, sino
Oo.
sa apat na team na
Semifinals, top 4, kumbaga.
wala nang rank.
Siguro
Mm.
Pewter Pants saka Baron Leia probably. Tapos yung kabila is of course. Actually, this is pretty hard kasi since dalawa yung leftover na team, like yung
Oh, yeah,
yung
that is true.
I
That
think
is
that
very true.
it will be bound na SOS versus HH tapos
Yeah, that
BB
is
versus
true.
Peter Pans. So it's a bit hard of a toss up, no?
Mm-mm. That is
So
true.
so
Yeah,
siguro
fair point.
EGE versus LT finals
Okay. Yeah.
tapos Peter Pans versus I think it might be Heart Home actually in the bronze match.
Really, that's very
Yeah.
interesting.
Mm.
Pewter Pants versus Heartthrob.
In the bronze
Okay.
match. Kung they lose to semis to
Okay.
the semifinal, to the
Mm,
finalists.
That's a hot take, ah. Very, very, very interesting take.
Good points, good points. How about
Very
you,
good one.
Tyrant? Yeah, same question.
Well, definitely, I excluding my team, I'd see Spikemoot Sovereigns making it to the finals as well as Lumious Titans. And then for the bronze match, I would see um I believe it would be between Pewter Pants and Balon Leia naman.
Mm, okay, good points. Ako ako hindi ko na ira-rank 'no, kung sino yung final, sino yung bronze match. Kasi tingin ko yung top 4 teams, excluding us, um, EGE, Pewter Pants, um, Spikemoot, tsaka isang ano ba, sino ba yung bago?
Heartthrob.
Ah, ayokong hindi, 'wag Heart Home.
One
Um,
side.
Stone side, parang solid lahat ng players nila, eh, solid din.
Actually,
Yeah,
lahat ng players sa Stone side, they have a really solid VGC background, ah. Like
yeah,
everyone there knows how to play from their past.
lalo na si Pat. Pat yung
Oo.
yung
Oo,
ayokong
si
kalaban diyan, eh.
Si Kabangin 'yun, 'di ba?
Ayoko
Yan yung
na kasi madalas tawag doon. Nararating sa RNG game yung lang matches namin madalas eh. So I don't have
ako
a
din,
good experience. I don't have a good experience against him. Like my memories are not too
Yeah, I know how you feel. We always have like that one or two players that we've played against na it's always RNG involved.
like I remember like rock slide finches probably from him. So
Yeah.
parang parang gano'n din yung nangyari sa'kin. Alam ko siya yun, eh. Parang Venusaur siya tapos Colossal yung gamit ko. So, na-sleep ako. Ta's nung pagkagising, nag-miss naman yung heatwave ko. Tiyan mo, inihintan ko, eh, hindi mo pa binigay.
you associate
Uh,
bad memories with players, no?
Ah,
Like,
May association talaga that you
binigay
you
na
won't forget.
binigay na ng Diyos, di
Yeah.
pa nilubos, eh.
like I remember Patrick by probably like teams that have Thunder Wave or Rock Slide usually. It's a quite a memory.
Yan,
That was probably VG 16 probably.
yan. So,
That's what I also remember, eh. Maybe one thing we can talk about per se is, knowing this time around we have a decent budget again as last time. If I want to bring it out, like, because I was mentioning it before in the draft, but I want to give emphasis now. The top 10 of the league, they will receive monetary reward, no? Kasi I like to believe that it should be similar to a scholarship. The best performing people should receive some award per se. So, I allocated part of the funds so that if you rank within the top 10 to the fifth place, you get your registration fee back. Now, if you get fourth or third, you get your registration fee back and 100 pa. And then the top 2, you get 500 total, and then top 1, you get 1K. This isn't including a possible sponsor we may get, no. I'm talking to someone. I'm not sure if they're going to sponsor this season or the next season, but it's a substantial amount. But as things stand, ganon. I think one good topic we can talk about here is um who do you who do you two think are going to be part of these top 10?
Parang ang dami naman nun. Siguro 3
Parang,
players lang probably.
Like top
Yeah.
3 players, and let's exclude players from the 3 of our teams. Mas maganda yun.
yan. Tama
Ah,
Okay, so Dodge, ikaw muna.
Siguro, excluding from the 3 hour teams, ang dami
yes.
naman nung i-exclude. Wait lang. So, siguro, sino yung number 1?
We don't need to rank them per se to make things easier. Basta part ng top 10 na lang.
Feel ko, parang hirap wait lang, check natin yung mga ibang teams. Si Brent. I think he's wanna be...
Yeah, solid
si,
choice.
Si Brent, saka si Candy. I think he's also good.
I agree with Candy.
Then, ang pangatlo ko, they're both from the same teams, so that's I don't know the other players kasi honestly, like, yung mga other top players. So, kind of hesitant on naming them. But sino ba? Si Peter Pans. Si Vincent. Next probably.
Patient.
Okay. How about you, Tyrant?
Well, I share the same thought towards si Candy, no. And then yung second ko si Patient rin. For my third, I just realized ang hirap rin ng tanong ko, no. I think it might be si My Bear ng Balon Leia.
Si Dom.
Si Doms. Kasi Doms won the top 1 player of last season eh. So I'll give him the respect pick na lang.
Yeah. So ako, hindi nyo nakikita yung sleeper pick May top 3 si Poncho.
Okay.
I've never played against him, that's why
He was part of the last national team. Magaling rin siya. Yeah.
So Vincent Mateo.
Si
Si
Patient.
Vincent Ignacio din. Siguro ang wild card ko si Hellscream.
Good pick.
Yeah. So yung tatlo.
Okay, that's kind of different from us.
Yeah.
I usually go with people who I have played against and have talked to. So ayun nga. So what else do we have? How are you guys naman? Like, do you think yung mga top performers natin online, like how well do you think can they translate their performance into a LAN tournament setting?
That's a very good topic.
Kasi I myself, of course, I'm probably one of the best players LAN-wise kasi I'm pretty theatric also with myself. So, and I'm probably just used to LAN tournaments overall, or I feed on pressure in real life pressure, no? So, it makes me stronger more so than that. So, I think a lot of players are really good online. And medyo kabado nga lang, especially in LAN tournaments. I think it's very apparent, no, for a lot of the newer players.
Ako yun Parang pinaparinggan mo ako
Ay, ganun ka ba, Rap? Are you kabado ka ba sa
Hindi.
LAN?
Ewan ko kung bakit. Pero pag LAN, hindi ako nananalo ng LAN. Hindi ko alam kung bakit. Pero pag online nananalo ko, hindi ko din alam. Baka curse. Curse ako sa LAN. Hindi na ako sasali.
Baka nagma-magic ka online, Rap, kaya ganyan.
Uy, hindi
Dito mo na talaga, wala na ako issue to sa podcast host natin.
Ano yan? Dodge, nagda-damage calc yun.
Uy, hindi, no?
ID pala, ID.
Tay. Tyrant. Kita mo, yung mga replay ko sa VR. Nasa YouTube yun. Nakita mo.
Magaling ka naman talaga na player. I'm not denying it. Hindi
Ay,
hindi
pero
naman po
online din yun ah. Hindi
Wala,
ba online?
tumira. Mabilis ako tumira.
Ay, hindi,
Na-open
hindi.
na.
Biro lang naman.
Open na pa.
Pero there are some players na who are really strong in LAN tournaments compared to their online self, di ba?
Yes.
So,
I agree with Dodge on that. There are those kinds of players.
how about you, Ty? Do you think like, what do you think you're stronger on LAN or online?
Mm, I think the best way I can answer that is on a static level. I think I performed on an average basis better online than offline. But in the biggest on in the biggest LAN tournaments, those are my crown performances. Kasi in the past, I played in numerous big tournaments and I performed really well. So I think that's the better way to describe my experience. So like when the stakes are very high, I'm stronger at LAN than online.
Buti pa kayo. Actually, sa mga recent PGP tournaments natin na big ones, I actually never got to play any of them since ako yung organizer madalas pag malaki yung tournament, no? So it's kind of unfortunate na I couldn't play sa Sword and Shield, yung 84-player tournament natin. I was actually the judge there, so
I wasn't there. I don't think I
you
was
weren't
there.
there ata nun. So, tas
Ay,
ano
hindi.
pa,
I was there. I was there pala. Sorry,
tas
sorry.
yung Ultra Sun and Ultra Moon launch, I was also the
Yun,
caster for that tournament. So,
that's the one I was not there. Yun, yun.
yung si Luis sa atin nanalo nun. Tapos the other one was Leandro. Si Rap ba? Ayun nga, no? So, LAN tournaments. So, I don't know if we're gonna have any LAN tournaments anymore.
Bakit?
Since, uh, kasi it depends on who wants to organize it. What if hindi ko feel mag-organize,
Yeah, I
di
think
ba?
it's fair to talk na lang na that aside. Let's talk about nationals. Total none of us will organize that eh. Let's use those tournaments as a basis. So for you, Rap, ano yung sagot mo? Yung offline or online?
Well, kung nationals na, no? Sana LAN na lang. LAN na lang lahat, no?
Of course, yeah, oo.
Yeah.
Oti
I think
Beach, yeah. LAN, di
LAN.
ba?
LAN na lang. Para nandun yung pressure. Para pag alam mong panalo ka, ramdam mo. Kasi nung last nationals, nandun ako eh. So, medyo sawidin ako eh. Medyo sawidin. I mean, I did my best pero ang hirap na din ng matchup sa akin. So, si James kasi yun, laban kay Patrick or if you're not familiar.
Si
Nandun,
Elegado, si Build Up,
so,
sila.
yeah. So, nandun ako. I was watching dun sa battle nila. Parang, there are some moves na dapat panalo na si James, knock siya, ganun. So, yung mga ganung pangyayari parang hirap tanggapin. Lalo na ano, hindi naman sa galit ako kay Patrick. I think 7 out of 8 PGP players, siya lang yung hindi namin kakilala. Yeah. So,
Yes, yes, yes.
He's a bit of a low-key player, pero he did come out on top. I've actually never played against him as well, so
Same.
I'm not
I've
too
never
familiar
played.
with him.
yeah.
So, pero
So, ayun. Parang during that finals tournament, parang si James na yung winner na yun eh. Ang daming miss, ang daming paralyzed, ang daming confused. Parang
parang
na
hindi lang talaga destiny ni James maging
Yeah.
parang nag-build up na din yung confusion kay James ng gano'n. Tapos after tournament, di ko alam sasabihin ko. Yan,
parang
parang awkward situation na din para sa aming dalawa.
nice
Yeah.
try na lang, parang gano'n.
Parang anong gagawin natin? Tapos after nun parang ano bang gagawin natin? May invite na kami. Hindi rin namin alam gagawin namin.
Pero wala namang pera, panglipad, di ba?
Ayun na naman eh. Ayun yung problema, yung pera.
Pero, yeah. Anyway, di ba? So, LAN tournaments nga. Pero hopefully ang ESL, ang gusto kong mangyari is, di ba yung nationals yun, is secluded area siya, so walang audience.
Hindi, ang worry ko
Walang,
nga, now that you brought that up, Dodge, my worry is that they might repeat the same process na online yung qualifiers tapos offline lang yung top cut.
it's actually so bad kasi, ayun nga, hindi, paminsan, like,
Kasi
there's a lot of,
for me it's a wasted opportunity. But the only time I can think that that's the method to go to is if their player base is too big, no? Kasi you need to also filter out how many should really attend the venue if there are too many. But given our community, I think it would be a missed opportunity to capitalize on
actually,
considering hindi naman tayo in the thousands.
Yeah, pero ang importance nito is you want to separate the players who are actually good at LAN tournaments compared
Yes,
to online kasi that's
yes.
where the real competition starts, diba?
Yes,
Like
exactly. Kasi
in
nga
real life
Worlds is,
tournaments.
as you said nga, tama, the biggest one we're all striving for is Worlds. And that is an offline tournament, no? So the best way is to really prove yourself in that setting.
Like can you perform under pressure? Can you perform under like people watching you?
Yes, exactly,
Like
exactly. You took the words out of my mouth. Tama.
like like parang importante yun as a player and I take pride in myself and to you guys as well na you guys can perform under pressure, diba? Ako, I actually like get really tawag doon, a lot of adrenaline under like
Yes,
when
I
people
know how
watch
you
me.
feel. Yes.
I get so much stronger when people watch me, parang gano'n.
Yeah.
Like baliktad sa akin kasi since of course from a young age I've been playing tournaments in PC games in like in LAN setting. So medyo sanay na ako regardless. So
Yeah,
that's
I
working
know how
out
you
for
feel.
me.
Yeah. Kasi
Ayun.
I mean, outside the VGC, growing up, I've been competing in sports in front of crowds rin. So
Diba?
I get
It
an adrenaline rush. Yeah.
gets your blood
And
pumping, no?
yeah, and actually it's a joke among EGE players that I mentioned before. I do lose games, I admit that. I lose games where people sometimes are surprised na, natalo si Tyrant dito. Dapat panalo siya. But the funny thing is, when the stakes are so high and everyone is watching, dun ako lumalakas. Like in the last Victory Road, I think sila Rap they can attest.
Yung Melvin mo ba? Yung match
Mm,
mo ba kay
Yeah,
Melvin?
the strong in our Victory Road experience, the stronger my opponents, the stronger I become. That's what our team jokes about. Whereas if we're not so aware of who my opponent is, dun na tayo parang, oh, we don't know what's gonna happen na.
parang ako din, parang ako lagi yung last player na naglalaro ta's ako yung pang-tie. Ako yung
Parang,
magta-tie.
Oh, pero consistent ka eh.
Oo.
yeah,
Parang
that's
'pag naglalaro na ako nawawala ano, 'pag ako kasi 'pag kunyari 15 minutes before game, kinakabahan ako, eh. Ta's 'pag nag-start na parang, "Sige, let's go." Ubusan na
parang
'to,
gusto, parang ano, no? Gusto mo mag-cheer pa sila, no? Like,
oo.
kaya mo
Oo.
to, diba?
Ako 'pag naglalaro ako pinapatay ko lahat nung ano ko, eh, cellphone ko, messenger, lahat. Walang maingay. Huwag niyo akong guluhin. Gano'n ako maglaro, eh. Kaya siguro ang last ko sa online 'no, walang maingay, walang disturbance.
Ayun lang, kailangan mo
No,
masanay kung ganyan, Lods.
mag-he-headphones ako sa LAN, sa nationals 'no, mag-he-headphones ako.
Tsaka,
Magdala ka, alam mo yung sa pangkabayo, yung ano, yung
Yung
ano,
naka
yung blind
oo,
sa gilid ng mata mo.
para tunnel vision yung makikita niya. Oh.
oo,
Tsaka Rap,
oo,
talking on that point, hindi, na-curse ka eh sa Treasures and Titans. Naalala mo ba
oo.
na you curse yourself? Sabi mo kasi sa akin, not to talk to you kasi 0-2 ako. Hindi ka nag-uusap sa mga 0-2. Ayan tuloy. From that point on, puro talon ka na lang eh, di ba?
Oo, parang
Oo,
talo. Pangit
oo,
ng match,
na, na voodoo ka dun.
ayun.
So, ayan. Shadow kang nakarama doon, Lods.
Yan, naunahan
So,
ng bibig, eh.
so hopefully, ano, yun, hopefully ESL nga, they build a tournament na from round 1 Swiss, LAN talaga siya, and then probably we have 2 days to play out.
Not only that, I know it might be reaching too far, but still hoping, of course, that we have more opportunities to send players here to Worlds. Kasi nga, like, it's heartbreaking. Like, example, not to exclude you, Rap, per se, kasi magaling ka naman na player, but just to, kasi nga, may long time rivalry kami. It would be heartbreaking if, example, Dodge and I are only fighting for one slot to go to Worlds. That would be so heartbreaking. Kasi for me, I would love to see 2 or 3 of our countrymen representing us on the world stage. Kasi I know we have good players eh.
Like, parang you want to play the finals without any worries na you won't be able
Yes,
to go
like
to
I
Japan.
think like our worry is who brings that trophy home. Yun na lang, 'di ba?
Like, parang we play it out na lang, like, without any burdens na,
Yes.
and then we, knowing that both of us will go to Japan for sure, parang gano'n, no? I can see
Mm-mm.
that happening naman na it's heartbreaking na especially like especially another point here is like what if player X, like player Y or player X, was performing really good for for Series 1 or Series 2, tapos biglang Series 3, he got unlucky in a tournament in the Nationals, 'di ba? Like napakasayang, 'di ba? If this player can't go just because of one unlucky
And
run in the
oh,
tournament.
and
And
at
it's
that
heartbreaking to see that.
and at that, to add to your statement, it would also be a bit sad to see the players na magaling sila in one format and then in this format lang nasayangan, and then tama ka rin to add that my unfortunate RNG involved.
But sometimes you just get a really unlucky run and nothing's going on for you. Like you get hacks, you get whatever, bad matchups all the time. And then you just can't make it. Bigla kasi you only have one chance, diba, to make it. And medyo umay nga yun on the side of
Yeah.
Pokemon to only have one tournament for us to qualify for.
Yeah. Feeling ko kung gusto nilang maraming invite sa atin, dapat nag-start na sila mag-announce, eh. I mean kung kunyari gusto nila magpadala ng dalawa, dalawang day 2, dapat ngayon pa lang nag-a-announce na sila, eh. Kasi yung parang yung last year ata, parang biglaan lang din yun, eh, parang May.
Yes, biglaan lang.
Parang parang May first or second week ng May, tapos after 2 weeks, nationals na, o yan.
I
Quiz
remember
na.
nga looking at bigla may nuts. Sabi ko pinag-isipan ko konti. Pero I was in the middle of a Valorant league
You
that
were
time,
really
eh.
busy that time, I
I was really
remember.
busy. Sabi ko, inisip ko, do I even try? Sabi ko, tatalo lang ako, eh. Kasi everyone's so ahead already. And
Hindi lang yan.
uh,
Actually, I felt your sentiment kasi I myself was busy trying to graduate. So I was like, napilitan ko na lang eh. Like I forced
like
it. And then,
parang, I don't want to lose immersively. Like, parang waste my time trying to train to catch up to the likes of Rap who has been playing the season for almost 2 years. Parang
parang battle hardened si Rap.
I feel like I'm just gonna lose anyway, so might as well not play. Parang ganun. So I'm respecting like the amount of time they've put into the season, and they probably truly deserve winning it out. Parang ganun. Like sisiksik ko pa yung sarili ko, wala naman akong chance.
Yeah, yung time na din kasi nun, nung before mag-announce, di rin ako masyado naglalaro, eh. So, yung announcement sana may plano kaming magpa-nationals ngayon sana.
Parang nakapag-prepare ka na, no? Like
Kunyari,
prior.
may date na ganitong kunyari, kung mangyayari yung nationals 2 months before, sana i-announce na nila para ma-set aside na yung schedule, makapag-prepare ka ng maayos, yun.
Yes, the preparation talaga eh.
Kasi
Kasi,
yung
VGC,
biglaan
you
kasi,
prepare your team eh.
yung biglaan na announcement parang, hala, anong gagawin ko? Lalo na yung preparation ko nun, hindi ko talaga alam yung team na gagamitin ko. So, parang yung kung sino lang yung comfort team ko nung team na yun, ayun na yun. Tas ang pinakamasakit pa nun, best of 1, best of 1
Yung
Swiss.
Swiss. Yung Swiss,
Ah,
oo.
As open team sheets pa in that format
Oo,
na hindi pa open team sheets yung
yung
tournament, 'di ba? So, I
yun
mean
yung
yung format. So,
yun yung
it was a lot of questions about the tournament
Oo nga, no,
the
that's
tournament
a good point.
system.
That's a good point, Dodge. I forgot about that. Na open team sheets nga pala kami noon na hindi naman open team sheets yung format.
Oh, so people who were like playing the season regularly na on closed team sheets basis
Yeah,
na
oo.
they have to adjust biglang open team sheet now I have to play more I'm more staple or more polished surprises, no, like fuck dude, like oh my god, I actually cursed, pero anyway. So yun nga, yung teams with surprises are not as effective anymore, di ba?
lalo na nung pagdating ng best of 3, yung top 8 na, parang nag-iba na yung laro nung iba. Hindi na nila ma-execute yung strategy nila, gano'n. Kasi parang 2 weeks ata after ng Swiss, parang tama ba? Kasi yung online nationals parang May 28, tapos yung top 8 parang June 12. So may 2 weeks na prep.
I think
Ang yung ginawa ko nun, yung ginawa namin nun, kinuha ko lahat nung 7 teams, pinractice ko lahat yun. So nung nationals na, ready na kami ni James. "Oh, ito yung katapat mo, ito gagawin mo, ito yung flowchart mo, ako din." Yun yung ginawa ko kay
Actually, that's kind of whack din, like
Oh,
you're given 2 weeks to prepare for your semi, for your and people like worlds and OC, like internats and regionals, they only have 1 day to prepare at most. And of
yeah.
course, that takes away like the preparation of the top contenders, no? Like like yung mga hindi nag-prepare, biglang binigyan ng oras para mag-prepare. So parang lugi yung nag-prepare talaga ng todo, 'di ba? Like that's
Oh,
kind of unfair in my POV.
yeah. So, sana kung nakikinig yung ESL 'no, kung magsi-Swiss kayo Sabado tapos Top Cut Linggo, gano'n. Lalo na
Actually, as a
kung madami yung player.
community, we should be rallying around like voicing our concerns to the management or the TO. Like kasi it takes away a lot of the tournament integrity, no, Tyrant.
Mm. Actually, what I found a bit I mean, because I competed last time alongside Rap, and in as much as I performed very well sa Swiss, I think I was 6-0 sa Swiss, no? Rap that time.
Saan?
The nung Swiss para sa Nats. 6-0
Ano
ako nun eh. I
hindi,
just fell short. Yun ba yun?
hindi parang hindi yun yung 2021, eh. Yung 2022 parang nag-start ka 0-2 ta's
Hindi
nag 4-2
eh.
kayo.
London to eh. London to.
Sure ka ba?
So yeah.
Kasi alam ko
So
yung team mo nung nag 6-0 kayo yung may Sableye.
Ah,
Kaya
2021 ba yan?
oo,
Okay, then my bad, my bad. But that aside then, I from to answer Dodge's question, I think it is a bit sad if we are receiving a very subpar tournament structure than what we deserve. Kasi nga, I mean, sure we don't have as big of a player base from other countries, but that should not diminish the grandeur of the tournament per se. It's called Philippine Nationals,
eh,
meaning it should embody like it's a big tournament, 'di ba? And it should have a good format per se. Kasi thinking back on it, what Dodge mentioned, best of one yung sa atin. I remember Singapore was best of three, yung Swiss nila.
oo daw, totoo daw yun.
Tayo lang yung best of one.
Mm,
Tayo with the other countries. It's only because they have like a large player base. So
pero
that's one thing I hope they will avoid.
yeah, so day 2 invites, ESL.
Not only that, yung sa Nats ba last time, Rap, how many were invited to day one? Yung top 4 lang?
Oo,
top 2, 3,
Yun,
4.
2,
yun
3,
yung
4.
ayoko sana. Gusto ko sana top 8 invited to day one. And then if possible, top 2 and
Day
top
2.
1 to day 2. Oo. But if what they're trying to go for kasi is that your country, it should be this format, it should be the national champ lang sa day 2 kasi given your player base. Okay, fine. But at least send the top 8 na lang or invite the top 8 per se to day 1. Sayang
Pero
lang kasi na you reach that far, 'di ba?
But of course, we have to voice these concerns out to ESL as a community, So we just can't, keep quiet and not say
Yes.
anything against them.
So if
Uh,
to those viewers there who are listening, if you know anyone, voice it out for us, no?
uh-huh.
Oh, i-share niyo 'to. I-crop niyo tapos i-share niyo ulit. Parang yung ginawa ko.
So yun. So ang ideal structure is a LAN tournament with 2 days back to back with the usual things, best of 3, open team sheet, no. So of course, we want to, actually yung online din kasi is prone to cheating. So it's
Yes.
a lot of concern about tournament integrity. Like I'd be so anxious of like people trying to change their Pokemon in the middle of a match or whatever. Or trying to
Yan.
DC, like magdi-DC sila sa mukha ko na I'm actually so ahead and boom, DC.
Yeah,
Oh
I
my
know how
god.
you feel. I know how you feel.
Like holy. Like as a competitor myself, I mean a long time competitor in multiple titles. Parang ang sakit nun na dadayain ka lang, no? In such a
Not only
tournament.
that, just to let's say na integrity sake na everyone is fair. Imagine you lose because of a decision, just because of a disconnection. or you have to remake a match because of a disconnection.
Basta
And
RNG
here,
ka dun sa remake na yun.
yes,
Oh, like, shit.
exactly. That's what I was gonna get at. So yun.
Ay, it's actually so dumb if you lose out that way, Wala kang laban, 'di ba?
The
So,
world
So
is
hopefully,
against.
hopefully, here's to hoping.
here's to hoping. And here's to the community, We have to rally. There has to be a lot of concern. I mean, from the community, like voicing out their opinions. So ayun. So that's it for our national the LAN tournaments as we were talking about, no, Rap.
Yeah. Naalala ko, naiyak ako eh.
Naiyak ka ba? Okay lang yan. Bawi ka.
Yeah, but
Naiyak ako eh.
that's the
Kita,
sentiment I'm getting
kita
at.
tayo sa top 4, ah. Kita
I
tayo sa
want
Yeah.
top
to see
4.
I want to see as many of our players be able to compete in worlds. Kasi nga you never know, 'di ba? They might bring home the trophy. Anything can happen.
Tsaka yung experience din, no? Lalo ka na, Dodge, na-experience mo na pumunta ng Worlds. Ano ba experience pala?
Aha. Na-experience ko na nga pumunta ng Worlds, pero it wasn't the dream run kasi I got RNG'd out of the tournament early on. It was a lot of sad moments pero it's whatever. I got
This
to go
was
anyway.
2016, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
Ano ba? May special, ano ba doon?
Special
Ano ba?
ano.
Kunyari,
Memory.
special. Do you feel special na nandun ka? Wala.
Um, I mean, did I feel special going there? You mean, or what do you
Oo.
mean? Or
Yeah, like rather did you feel special being in that environment? I think that's what Rap is trying to ask.
not really. I mean, I would have liked to go to day 2 and probably feel the day 2 vibes, of
Mm.
being up there with all of the other people. And unfortunately, things don't go well. Actually, yung pinaka memory ko lang doon is in 2 rounds, my Kangaskhan, who's full HP, got critted twice by eruption critical hit. So that's a bit sad, parang ganun talaga buhay. So that's what I remember most of it, and I just lose out all of the other games. I went 1-2. I went 1-2 and then went 5. Basta I had 2 losses. I couldn't get in anyway.
Parang early loss, no? Pangit na yung
Oo.
resistance.
Pangit
Sakat.
na yung resistance. So pero going there was naman, I went to a lot of I got to meet a lot of the people there, so it's whatever. Bawi na lang next time.
Bawi na lang, no? Oo, kasi ano ba yung nangyari last year? Hindi ko din kasi sure kung ano yung mangyayari. Kung totoo ba o hindi. Parang hindi lang makapaniwala na sana pala nag-effort pa pala ako, no? Bring up better teams, ganun.
I feel like lang rin na even though you get a day 1 invite, it's important that you have a branding and you're someone that can be like, wala day 1 invite ka. Something you have to account for is like, are you a marketable person? Like, pwede ka bang sponsor na isang esports team para pumunta ka? Even though hindi ka day 2 invited or wala kang travel award, I think you might have a chance of going to Worlds if you were someone like si Tyrant, he has a brand for himself, and then probably if he gets to talk to some esports orgs, he can get to day 2 without a travel. I mean, he can pay for himself. Never mind. I don't even even forgot about that. No, Tyrant.
Yeah, but that aside, um, like so it applies to everyone else. I'm pretty sure there are a lot of players if they're invited, they can pay for themselves to go. But it would be much better for your experience knowing you don't need to cover it, diba? You're going there to compete lang talaga.
And just focus on your
Yeah, it's like you're basically being paid to do what you love. Passion, kumbaga.
Yeah. Agree. Alam niyo ba last year nag-reach out din ako.
Yes, I'm aware. Oo. Kaya
Nag-reach out
talaga
ako.
it breaks my heart to see players that they cannot go.
Yeah,
because
so
of money,
Yes.
ang laki din kasi nung gagastusin, ticket pa lang ang laki na. So, yun,
Parang
nag-reach out ako.
For me nga personally I mean, it was a good experience back then traveling alongside Dodge abroad. But if I had the chance to change things, I would have preferred if that travel was nowadays with the newer VGC formats than back then. Kasi nga the tournaments now are bigger than what they were before.
Yun
Sayang
lang.
lang.
Yeah.
Ah,
Wrong format.
yeah. But here's the hoping. Here's the hoping. I don't want the listeners or the viewers to feel down about this. I want everyone to still feel powerful in trying to achieve that world's invite and even that world's title per se. It would make my heart full knowing na that the trophy comes back to us. All the more it's going to be held for the first time in the birthplace of Pokemon, 'di ba? For the first time. Tsaka I think it's fair to say this is going to be the most difficult worlds among the rest kasi
Uh,
we know that the Japanese players are the very best in the world, if not some of the very best. And for sure, they are already making plans to ensure that as many of their best players get to compete in it.
Yeah.
So it would make my heart full knowing na one of us brings home that trophy to our country.
Sa'kin kahit hindi lang mabigay yung trophy, kunyari top cut lang, oh, yan okey na
Oo,
yun.
pwede rin, oo. Or even kahit just to reach the top 4, that would be amazing, no? In the hardest worlds in history.
did ano ba? Like, actually, never mind. So, ayun nga. So, siguro we should move on from the topic na since it's getting a bit of a downer na rin for the topic, you know.
Yeah,
So,
lalo na nandito ako.
yeah, ano ba? Any questions for me, Pabarap? As a
Sige ano na lang,
personal questions or
my
whatever?
last question, anong mabibigay mong tip sa bagong new player or hindi pa naglalaro? Kunyari, gusto ko i-try 'tong VGC. Ano bang tip na mabibigay mo?
Parang mahirap yan ah. Wag na
Kung
lang,
ano,
ganun. wag mo nang subukan.
kumbaga ano,
Hindi, joke lang. Siguro if you're trying to get into BGC, it's probably harder than most games you've ever played. Aside if you played you from chess, ganon, any other games that require a lot of thinking. If you come from a background of like MOBA FPS, like this is more like 90% thinking and 10% mechanics, parang so you have to be prepared to study. So you can't just be playing. So yun ang ano ko. So study more. Siguro study as much as you play probably is the best advice as I can give to aspiring VGC players kasi a lot of people just keep playing but actually never learn like fundamentals kasi they're like trying to play the game blindly without any guidance from their studying. So studying can mean a lot of things though. No? So researching, watching guides, listening to people, So
yan.
kasama na 'yon sa VGC experience mo, no.
So yun, manood ka nito 'no, makinig ka sa amin.
Ikaw, Tay, may ano ka ba last words?
Mm,
Same
wala
question na lang. Same question na lang sa'yo, Tyrant. Anong
mm,
mabibigay mong tip sa incoming BGC player?
it's not going to be easy. So I think you should accept that. It's going to be very difficult. And if you really want to play it, then you should accept the fact that you're not gonna have a good time from the very start. I mean, it's very rare that someone has a very good time from the very start because like you don't find um not to brag or anything else, but we have players that come into the community such as si Axe, si Dodge or myself na magaling talaga from the start. But then we also have the players who aren't like a unicorn run from the start, like Rap. Rap, you weren't like the one of the strongest from the beginning, but here you are now, one of the top players. No, parang you ramped up. So I don't think I think people should accept the fact though that it's not going to be easy. you're gonna have a hard time no matter what because your run is still going to be your run. You might compare it to other people, but your experience is still gonna be your own. And if you want to really get better at it, you're gonna have to first accept that it's not gonna be easy for you. And if you accept that, then you'll start being open towards learning the game and playing it.
Good points, Nabati mo pa ako, nabanggit mo pa.
Oh,
Oh no,
grabe
because
yan si Rap eh.
it is true in anything naman eh. There are prodigies na magaling talaga from the start and then they stay consistent. But also we have to give the the point na there are people who are just lucky, no? Nanalo sila agad, but then in the long run, hindi pala sila magaling. Beginner's luck, kumbaga. And then there are also those na they played for a long time and the maximum that they reach is they're one of the good players. But then there are also players that they worked so hard and they end up as one of the best players in the community, which is one of which is you, Rap. That's an example I want to give to people na it doesn't matter where you start from. It's about staying consistent at the end of the day and making that top finish in the tournament that matters.
Thank you,
Grabe, maiyak ka na ba, Rap? Oh,
Iyak na
Rap,
ako, guys.
naiyak ka na ba? Naiyak ka
Ubos na
na
yung
ba?
tissue. Ubos na
Hindi
yung tissue ko.
actually, to go back on the note of the PPTL, going into my match with Rap, I thought Rap forgot that we've played numerous times in the past. And then when I saw yung victory post niya that naging fruitful yung win niya against me in a big stage like that. Especially, it's his first time to beat me after all these VGC years. Na-touch rin ako na he remembered pala. I thought it was just me. So, it's also beautiful for me to see players that back then, hindi sila nananalo against me. And then here they are becoming champions for themselves. Syempre, lose in grace. Diba? Lose
Tama,
with grace. Kumbaga.
tama
Kumbaga.
yan. Totoo yun, guys. Kung nabasa niyo yung post ko, totoo yun.
Kailan ko ba kakalaban si Rap? Mantagal ko na ata hindi nakalaban si Rap eh.
Parang,
Personally, I really believe that Rap is one of the best players in the long run to have transformed himself. Kasi like when I played against him recently compared to back then, he's really a different player now.
yun, narinig niyo yan, guys, Ano bang mabibigay
Grabe.
ko sa inyo? Ano
Oh,
bang
Rap,
mabibigay?
sorry. Wala akong masasabi. Hindi ko na matandaan yung huling laban natin, TBH.
Wait lang. Isipin ko. Parang PPL 5 ata yun, finals. 2020, ayun yung nakatulog ako Yung isang araw nakatulog ako.
Hindi ko na matandaan. That's,
Parang,
Yeah. I
wait
think he
lang
was part of Pewter Pants back then,
Future fans
Dodge.
ako nun alam ko. Parang Tuesday maglalaro tayo tapos nakatulog ako. At Wednesday tayo naglaro.
oh, pinagbigyan ko pala si Rap nun. Hindi ko
Tapos,
matandaan.
alam ko meron pa isa yung sa Cubao. Natalo ako nun Sa Cubao.
Cubao Expo. Okay.
Oo. Yeah.
So, yun. Any closing words pala muna bago tayo mag-drift on sa mga close discussion natin.
Ano ba? So, tip ko lang sa mga bagong players, yung results, hindi yan agad-agad. So, kailangan, pag naglalaro ka ng Pokemon VGC, dapat motivated ka Parang everyday. Motivated ka sa ginagawa mo. Kasi depressing din yung laro Parang hinahanap mo yung niche nung game. Nasaan ba? Paano ba ako mananalo? Ganun. Ang dami ko rin pinagdaanan. Hindi ko din alam kung paano ako gumaling Parang laro lang ng laro, ganun. Tas parang overtime na nakuha ko na yung playstyle na gusto ko, ganun. So, hindi tulad yung dalawa, no? Hindi ko may team ako na hindi kayang gamitin May specific team na hindi ako kayang laruin. So, yun lang. Sa new players, hanapin niyo yung team na nagsisync sa character niyo or sa playstyle niyo. So, yun lang.
Siguro, Rap, may nakilala kang taong ay nagbago sa'yo. Meron ba? Wala naman.
Wala naman. Ikaw.
Ako hindi
Ikaw
ako,
yun. Ikaw yun.
wala naman ako nung araw na yun eh.
Hindi ko din alam
Ganun
Siguro,
talaga.
may nag-magic ng buhay ko, no? Nilagyan ng magic sarap.
Nako
Oh,
po.
magic sarap,
Ayos So, tingin ko, na-cover naman din na natin lahat, no? Parang let's end this
Mm.
podcast. So, to our viewers, no? Thank you pala, no? Sa mga nag-like, nag-comment, subscribe. Parang 49 na yung subscribers ko, no? From 0.
Let's go to 100, one
Yeah.
step at a time.
Mag